Hello everyone, welcome to an informative podcast. Today we have a special guest, Mr. Solepan Kavali, who is a certified internal auditor, chartered accountant, and the director of Shipra Academy. Let us welcome him to share some insights on CAA course for the commerce students. Welcome, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, what is CAA all about?
CIA is actually Certified Internal Auditor course. So, which is basically a US certification. And currently in India, mostly chartered accountants are doing the certification. So, which is a specialized course in internal audit. So, if you look at few decades ago, you see that MBBS doctors are highly recognized as general physician. Okay, similar to that, if you look at the scenario here in commerce and accounting field, you can see that chartered accountants, they can do taxation, they can do internal audit, they can do external audit, they can do financial consulting, lot of different ambit of things which a chartered accountant can do. So if they want to specialize in a field which is in internal auditing, most of the chartered accountants in India who wanted to specialize in internal audit get the certification, Certified Internal Auditor, which is provided by the IIA, the Institute of Internal Auditors, US.
What will be the scope for the students who are joining this course?
Okay, scope. What do you mean by scope, first of all?
Scope in terms of what will be the work nature, how will be the salary?
Okay. Scope is basically a word
They
which
are
is...
recognizing in the company.
Scope is a word which is basically widely used in terms of students, like say language, and it is most abused kind of a word. Okay? The scope word, okay, people say that right now you do this course, this will have a scope. You don't do the scope, you don't have a scope. Okay? Even if you look at a lot of humanities related field, people become like say shining stars in music field, musicians. People will say that if you practice music, you don't have any scope, you can't get a corporate job. That doesn't mean that you can't become a A.R. Rahman, right? So every field has its own scope, provided you become a shining star in that field, right? So if you really have that kind of an intention to grow in the internal audit field, so who can be an internal auditor? A person who has the willingness to learn, who has the willingness to crack puzzles in terms of problem solving, critical thinking, and wants to add value to the company, and who is having a good communication skill can definitely do well in internal audit. And internal audit doesn't need any special qualification about accounting, taxation, or income tax or GST, those kind of things. It's more about a kind of a generic role, a person who is having like say a common sense. When I spoke to an internal audit professional who came from US, from the IIA US, she mentioned that person who is having a common sense can become a good internal auditor.
Who can pursue this CAA course?
So people think that people who are chartered accountants, qualified chartered accountants only can perform or pursue this course, but actually that's not the case. Right now, because of the lack of awareness, only CAs are doing the course, but actually people who are even 12th standard pass out from school, they can also get into the course. So there are different methods of getting into the course, like say for a CA course, a person who is a BCom can get into CA Inter. If you are not a BCom or not a graduate, then you need to get into CA Foundation. Similar to that in CIA course also, there is a new course which is introduced as a foundation course called as an IAP. It's a single paper exam. If somebody completes 12th standard, does the IAP course, within few months they can complete that paper, they can get into CAA course. CAA course can be done by graduates, can be done by students, can be done by chartered accountants, and people who are currently doing this course in our academy are primarily people who want to flourish in internal audit, people who are already working in banks, in risk management teams and internal audit teams, but doesn't have a proper professional qualification or certification. So those people are doing this course to accelerate their career. And also people who are from college final year are joining this course to pursue CIA. And also people who are chartered accountants who wanted to specialize are doing this course. But if you are passionate about adding value to the company, and this internal audit profession involves a lot of travel. I've traveled across 15 different countries and 5 different continents for the purpose of internal audit, sponsored by company, right? So if you are somebody who's having this kind of a flair, then this course is definitely going to add value.
It's for 12th pass out students, it's for chartered accountants. But which combination of courses? So if I'm doing a CMA course, will that be useful for me?
Okay.
So how a person who is already pursuing a professional courses can decide whether they will be more value added to their career.
Okay. See, when I look at the students' fraternity, Currently, people are thinking that if I do 2 certification, if I do 3 certification, it's going to be more value to me. Okay? But actually, if you look at how it should be viewed is that do 1 certification, get a job, see whether you are happy with the job, and if the job is demanding you to do the course, then you can do that course. Okay, it is not required that I need to get 4 certifications or 3 certifications before I complete my graduation or post graduation. That should not be the mindset. If you have the kind of passion towards audit and internal audit, definitely this is the course in terms of internal audit. If you want to do external audit, there are other courses.
What is internal auditing?
Internal auditing, okay.
Yeah.
Internal auditing is actually a specialized focused area for auditors.
Okay.
So if you understand the ambit of audit, there are multiple audits, whether it's an external audit, internal audit, management audit, or a certification, or an assurance, or like say the chartered accountants, if you look at it, they can do tax consulting or tax audits, and they can become a financial advisor, a transaction advisor. So multiple different facets of work which chartered accountants in India do. So the internal audit is specifically focused on the internal processes of a company. So the internal auditing as a domain is basically a process audit. So the external auditor will actually look at the financial statements of a company and provide an opinion saying whether the financial statements provide true and fair view. So that's the scope of the external auditor or the statutory auditor. But if you look at internal auditor is the eyes and ears of the management and the board of directors. So basically the management or the board of directors wanted to govern the company, see whether every process is working fine. For that they can't do every day and go and check. So the internal auditor, they ask the internal auditor to do an audit on purchasing, see whether purchasing team is following the processes and practices as per the company policies, see whether sales team is doing according to the policy, see whether we are complying with all the compliances related to our company, whether are we doing our income tax filing on time, are we doing our GST on time. So all these things are basically processes which are being audited by the internal auditor.
So it's basically internal auditing deals with evaluating the internal processes, and external auditing deals with evaluating the financial statements.
Yes, good. So one more point to update here is that it doesn't mean that internal auditor is actually based on like say an employee of the company. He is not sitting inside the company. He can be an employee to the company. Sitting as an employee of the company can do the internal audit of the organization. At the same time, they can also provide the internal audit services to an external firm to do the internal audit services. So as an external firm, also you can go and do an internal audit for a company. So it is not required that you need to be internal to the company as an internal auditor. You can also be an external consultant providing internal audit services to various companies.
Okay, then will there be any package differences if a non-certified internal auditor audits the company and the certified internal auditor audits the company?
Okay.
Will there be any differences in the
salary packages?
Yeah.
Okay. So in general, we are seeing that our let's say students in our academy, most of them are basically working in the internal auditor risk management field for the past 4 years or 5 years with a qualification like BCom or MCom, but they don't have a professional certification. And they are not able to get promotion as a manager. The reason being their companies have a standard or a process to say that you need to have a professional qualification to become a manager. Because once you get the managerial role, you need to manage people or a team under you, and if they are qualified professionals and the manager is unqualified, then there becomes a politics or a team dynamics issue. So to avoid that, companies set a standard that you need to be a qualified accountant or a qualified auditor to become a manager. So now people are rushing to do the course who are in the internal audit and risk management, who for some reason is not able to complete like say a different accounting or an audit course for a long number of years. They wanted to do this course in a short span of time and get the certification so that they can get the managerial promotion. So the percentage hike, Wiley is saying across US, 40 to 50% hike a person who is a qualified CA is getting compared to a non-qualified.
Okay. Then what will be the course syllabus of certified internal audit?
Okay, good. So CAA exam you need to pass 3-part exam. 3-part exam is 3 exams you need to clear. Part 1, part 2, part 3. First 2 parts are completely on the fundamentals of auditing and how to perform an internal audit.
Okay.
So qualities of an auditor, how to perform audit. So the third part is going to be more about the aspects of auditing. like say information security, information technology, because in the current world, without knowing information security, you cannot do audit, right? Information security is the highest threat, and also you need to know a little bit about financial management, financial accounting, and business acumen. So that is what is the third part. So there is no particular order in which you need to do the 3-part exam. You can do first the third part, then first part. So there is no level by level you need to achieve. Any exam you can do at any point in time.
So is there any exemption for CAs or CPAs, or everybody has to do the 3 parts?
Okay, 3-part exam even CAs and CPAs can do. In the recent past, the Institute of Internal Auditors has actually announced an exam called a CAA challenge exam, which is basically challenging the chartered accountants or CPAs, or there are 17 different globally recognized bodies. They can do one exam which is covering all 3 parts minus something which is their domain knowledge, which is financial accounting, financial management, minus that. So all 3 put together in one single exam, 3 hours exam. If they are able to pass that exam within 6 months of registration, then they will be able to get the CAA certificate. So instead of doing 3 exams, it's 1 exam. So that's the exemption for the chartered accountants.
Okay, that's good. So let's think about from a science student perspective or an IT professionals. Will doing certified internal auditor from switching the career from IT professional or science background, will it be more value added to their career and will it be useful for them?
Definitely, we are seeing people from different science background getting into internal audit, because internal audit as such doesn't require financial accounting or mathematical or statistical knowledge. So the basic requirement for being an internal auditor, when I asked about an US IAA personnel, she mentioned that she accidentally got into internal audit, and what is the qualities required to become an internal auditor? She said that common sense. If you have common sense, you can be an internal auditor, a good internal auditor. So basically, a person who is from a science background, who wants to get the career into the internal audit, can definitely do CIA and become an internal auditor if he has the passion to get into critical thinking, okay, and then analysis, and then problem solving, and giving solutions to companies, right? If you have this kind of a flair, and also having good communication to talk to CEOs and CFOs on a day-to-day basis and communicate your point to them and ensure that your points are getting addressed.
So what can you give an overall estimate of how much it will cost to complete this 3-part, or whether the cost differs from CA challenge and CA 3?
Roughly about 1 lakh to 1.5 lakh is what is the cost of the course. But if you look at a lot of other courses, even the Indian courses over a span of 4-year, 5-year period, students are spending 3 to 4 lakhs. Okay, whether it's a US course or other courses, people are spending much more. So within 1 to 1.5 lakhs, you are able to get a certification which is globally recognized, is something phenomenal.
So what is the duration to complete this course? How many months it takes to complete per course?
Okay. So actually speaking, there is no duration to complete the course. There is no May exam, November exam, June exam. Across the year, 365 days, you can schedule the exam like you book your bus ticket. You can schedule the exam on this date and you can go and write the exam. Typically, we see students completing within 6 months to 12 months. And personally speaking, I have completed this course within 3 weeks. Each part on each Saturday, Monday to Friday studied and completed in 3 weeks. I have seen students completing in 3 days also. Okay. So you can complete the course as soon as possible. So the professionals look at this course as a short time course to quickly get a certification, so that easily they can get promotion in their company.
How a person can complete the 3-part exam within 3 days?
So it's basically a person who is in and day out working in the internal audit department in a big 4, knows the IBPF standards and knows the processes, and they know about the course. They went ahead and wrote the exam as it is and completed the exam.
Because of the experience?
Because of the experience.
Okay.
So if you don't have the experience, you need to put more number of hours in terms of study.
So I have this question for a long time in my mind. Will AI replace internal auditors?
AI replace IA. Okay, that's a trending topic. Good. So basically, that's a topic even in the conferences we keep hearing. AI is replacing most of the jobs, most of the professions. So in fact, even for internal audit, there's going to be an impact. There's no doubt about it. But you need to become skilled. Like say, you need to upskill yourself so that AI doesn't impact your job, whichever profession you are in. So internal auditors, I see that the jobs might be a little bit taken over by AI, but still the risk management, which is actually the stage prior to the internal audit, people are getting more jobs in risk management. So a person who is a qualified CAA can be placed in risk management as well. At the same time, as a certified internal auditor, if you upskill yourself as to how to use AI in your audits, how to use data analytics is actually a powerful tool. Auditors use generally samples, 20 samples, 30 samples, and give an assurance for the entire population. But usage of the data analytics now has actually simplified the job of the auditor. He is not relying on the 20 samples, he can do the 100% population. 50,000 records can be analyzed through data analytics through various tools, so that he can give a complete assurance rather than a sample based assurance.
You can do more substantive,
like say more testing and more assurance. So the internal auditor need to upskill themselves. Then you can look at AI as actually a boon and as not as a threat.
Okay, that's a good answer. So can you please share your journey on CAA?
Okay, wonderful. I actually started my career as an internal auditor in a Big Four audit firm in Deloitte way back in 2006. And then I started working in the internal audit. There my managers and my team motivated me to do CIA course because they feel that more number of CIAs in the company will add value to the company, will add value to the consulting firm, so that they can get more jobs, internal audit jobs, even from Indian clients as well as from US clients. So that's the reason why they asked me to do the CIA course. In 2010 I completed CIA within 3 weeks. And then I actually moved on to different companies as an internal auditor, as a SOX key account manager for a European bank. And then I moved into a manufacturing company, traveling to 15 different countries, 5 different continents, from Americas to China to Japan to Australia, to different continents and countries, performing the work of internal auditor. So I love to travel. So I enjoyed the work of internal auditor because internal auditor requires extensive travel. So if you are getting a job in internal audit and it requires a lot of travel and you love traveling, then there is nothing like that. It was my dream job. So even after that, I wanted to pursue my passion into teaching. That is when I actually quit corporate job and started teaching for various professionals, including chartered accountant, ACCA, USCMA, and different courses. And now we are doing CIA as a course as part of our academy, as a Shipra Academy. Even while I am doing my teaching profession, I do a lot of consulting engagement as a freelance auditor, freelance internal auditor, or as a risk management professional to various US companies as well as to Indian corporates and giants. I was able to do that because I am a CAA qualified, because multinational companies value the CAA certification. And then after that, now I am actually getting into the partnership mode, and even as a partnership company, now we are doing a lot of consulting assignments as part of Shipra for the internal audit area, for risk management. So our firm is more focused into the internal audit and risk management as a consulting firm as well.
Okay, so you are doing consulting and also training the students for CAA.
Yes, so we actually focus on both. The reason being, a person who is only a trainer will not be able to understand what is happening in the market, in the current trend and upcoming status of the industry. So if you are able to do both, you can add value to the students. At the same time, you are staying in touch with the standards when you are being a teacher, being a trainer. So you can also add value to your client. So that's actually our focus.
So why an individual should consider joining Shipra Academy? What kind of unique services you offer?
Okay, if you look at various different academies who are providing CIA, they have actually multiple courses, 10 different courses. But our academy is focused more on internal audit and risk management, and we have only certified internal auditor as a course. And most of our trainers are basically from the GRC and the internal audit background. Okay, so we have as a faculty team or as a management team 70 years of combined experience in internal audit, which is actually a boon to the academy. So when the classes are being conducted, it's not going to be a theoretical session. The practical experience will be converted into the session, and the students will feel more relevant and understand the concepts easily. So it's going to be practical oriented session. We also have the guest faculties from the IAA India, who is actually a past president, is also a guest faculty. So you have the valuable knowledge sharing. And also we are going to train students on a lot of mock test and exam and ensure that we are guiding their path towards their exam success. Okay, and then on top of it, our academy is the only academy who is actually having classes, classroom sessions and also online session, hybrid model. So which is basically students who wanted to understand how the peers are doing. In an online mode, they don't have that exposure. So we want to open up our training center so that now people can join our office in Raipeta in Peters Road, Chennai, so that they can also understand the classroom session. So overall, if you ask the USP of our training academy, it's like say the experts take the sessions and then we guide students on passing the exams. We also do placement services for people who have completed the exam. We also provide the learning material from the US GLEM, right? So all those things we provide as a bundle.
Okay, there's a myth that when an academy offers too many courses, since you mentioned other academies offer multiple courses, there's a common myth that if an academy offers multiple courses, they are too established and their teaching will be more. If an academy offers only a single course, it will not be that much good.
Okay.
So what is your view on that?
See, the basic point is that who is taking the subject, who is taking the course will actually determine in terms of how the students are going to get benefited. So I can't talk about the academies who are taking multiple courses. At the same time, I can talk about my academy where we are, the people who are taking the courses, predominantly me and my colleagues, are all experienced in internal audit. So the focus is more on internal audit and risk management. We are doing the practical side of it. At the same time, we are doing the training sessions and certification courses as well. So we can add value to the students' journey and also ensure that they also get placed.
Okay. To conclude, what will be your advice for the students who wish to pursue the CIA?
Okay. So the students who want to pursue CIA, if you are a person who actually want to be a solution-oriented person, problem solving, and you wanted to travel across the globe or travel across a lot of different places, and you have a good common sense and critical thinking, good communicator, then definitely this is a course for you. You should opt for the course if you have these kind of traits or if you want to, like say, pursue a career on this. And you don't need to worry too much about whether I am a science graduate or I don't have maths in my 12th standard or I am only a 12th standard student, because even a 12th standard student can get into the course. And people who doesn't have qualification can get into the course, like say who quickly wants to get the qualification. So there are multiple opportunities. So if you have these traits, don't think too much about it. You can get into the course and get certified and qualified much faster.
Thanks for the advice and your valuable insights on this CIA course, sir. So the listeners, if you wish to join our academy, please check below the description box. Thank you.